That was the 3 questions about the muster, but they got asked. So here, knowing what you know about war and the teams, if you could go back in time, what would you have done differently?
Man, I wish I could go back in time. Dave Burke and I were doing an event early this week, and he said, I'm glad I'm not in Ramadi. I know Leif probably wishes he was in Ramadi. 100%. I would go there right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. And look, it's what I would do differently is the recognition that we were super aggressive. We took a lot of risk. What I would do differently is I would actually be even more aggressive. I would be 100 times more aggressive. I would be putting up, a concept of operations brief for your approval to send up the chain to swim across the river and hit targets and put in some cyber overwatches and just completely ruin the bad guys program going on in South Central Mike when they had complete freedom movement before they had any expectation that we could be there before anybody could get to us. And I think they would never see it coming, which means that we would have more impact and it would actually be safer for us because they wouldn't be expecting it. So they would probably hammer us, but we recognize that we could get away with a lot more than we could. And looking back on it, I just... When you come into an area and they're like, hey, don't go in there, you're all going to get killed, you want to be cautious. You don't want to just jump into things. You want to mitigate risk and control, certainly. But we recognize we could get away with a lot more than we thought we could, and more often than not, bring guys home. And of course, that's the one thing I would change, obviously, if I could change. If I would trade places with Mark Lee and Ryan Jobe in my platoon in a second, I'd trade places with Mike Mansour in Delta platoon in a second. And I wish I could do that. And I can't, but that is what I would change. But I certainly would, if we could go back there again, we would be even more aggressive and we'd have even more impact.
There's a term that they used to say in the teams. I don't know if you ever heard it. You probably did. When we'd be doing special reconnaissance training and guys would say, trust your camouflage. Did you ever hear that expression? You may not have.
I don't believe so.
So what it was when you got good at putting your camouflage together, you could really get aggressive in getting up and observing a target. Because if you trust your camo, if you've done a good job with your cami paint, your ghillie suit, and putting yourself together well, the enemy's not going to be able to see you. But it's really weird to be, 40 meters from a target that you're looking at, and there's a guy walking around, and you feel completely naked, like they can see, but they can't see you at all. They can't see you at all. And so it takes some time to learn to trust your camouflage. And I think, obviously hindsight is 20/20. And when you look back at your Ramadi, like you look back and you think to yourself, well, we could have done this and we could have done that. We could have gotten closer to that target. We could have done more things because our hindsight's 20/20. And also we learned over time to trust our camouflage. And the longer we were there, the more aggressive, operations took place. But yeah, that's hindsight's 20/20. Isn't it?
That it is.
Okay.